Hi, Rich. Let's look at the exercise I gave you last week for coming out of the chasse to the right in tango using the progressive link ending. So this is one of the endings that's in your book. It's probably the most difficult one because we're turning to the right and then we have to reverse that in order to do the progressive link. One of the things we talked about that I want to go over is to remember one of the unique things about the tango walk is that every normal step forward with the left foot is taken in CBMP. Every normal step forward with the right foot is taken with that right side lead, so it's curving. So we're always walking normally in CBMP with that left foot. So when we go to dance a progressive link from the walking, you're already placing that foot into CBMP. You don't have to add CBM or a shrug action. We often call this motion in tango a shrug. And we're going to practice that just like we did last week, just working on that motion quickly. But because we're coming from a chasse, this is very similar to what happens in quick step when we dance the silver tipple, where we're moving into the corner and then we're coming out. But it's also similar to the first tipple that we do in bronze, where we're in the chasse continuing in this direction. But we have to put the side lead or the shoulder lead in because it's not already there. Normally on a walk, it's already there if we've danced a chasse or a figure that puts us outside partner. So this is similar in that we have to add something. We have to add the CBM. In the quick step, we have to add the shoulder lead. So if that confuses you, we'll talk about that this week. The point is sometimes we have to add and sometimes we're already in the correct position. So if you're dancing that chasse to the right in tango, quick and quick, that's curving to the right. Now a lot of the guys try to stop that. The best way to stop is to actually rotate the body strong enough to the right that you can use that to help you go back to the left. Now that has to all be very contained, and you really have to understand this shrug movement, which is mostly a top movement. So instead of using everything, there's still some of that, but we have a little bit more isolated action here, just like we sometimes have broken sway instead of a complete sway. So we want to practice taking the body, let's say from straight to left to right for the link. Just go straight, we just keep the arms here, left, right. And to do that quickly, you'll find that you have to really brace your core, quick, quick. So now I'm going to be on the last step of the chasse, so I've got the body turned to the right. It will help you also to keep the head strongly opposing the hip. And then go into your link. You can flick your head there. As you do that, you get that shrug action. Quick, quick. It's a very difficult but very nice tango type action. To be turning to the right, turn to the left, turn back to the right. My girl hopefully will help me in the chasse. She uses her body into the arm. And it's very important we don't let our feet fly. I'll address that in a moment because we did make a point of that. And then she will place her foot into that position. So she will respond, hopefully, to your action. So just practice putting your hands on your hips so you don't get the arms moving around too much, and switching the shoulders. You can actually switch them to the right, chasse, to the left, going into the link, and to the right, completing the link. Now, I talked a moment about not letting the feet fly. One of the things we talked about on the chasse here was to make sure that this heel comes off the ground and the knees are working inward toward the other leg. You never want to be caught in tango with two flat feet with your feet apart. It also helps if you keep some pressure into that foot, because this can very easily get crazy. The leg comes off the ground and we get too much body movement. So keeping that compact, you increasing the pressure, releasing the heel, keeping your head strongly opposing the weight of the girl. Then if you like, you can do that little head flick, or you can leave your head nice and quiet. But just check throughout, since we're talking about that whenever your feet are apart, one heel should be released. You don't want those feet flat. Now, we'll address the chasse in another video. I want to keep this fairly short. I just want you to practice getting that really compact shrug action or change of contra body. Once again, on the progressive link, normally, if I'm walking, I'm already going to take my step in CBMP. I don't need to add body movement. That's a fault that a lot of the guys do. But in this case, because I'm turning to the right, I have to go back to the left. So I hope that helps. We'll talk about that tomorrow and see if we can make a little bit more progress on that.